when the yarn meets the hook.
First, you begin by making a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the first chain, you're going in with 3 double crochets. So yarn over, go in, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, go in, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, go in, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2. So now I have a total of 4 double crochets because the chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. Chain 3, turn. This counts as the first double crochet, so I'm just going to place extra 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So into the same stitch here, I'm going to place 2 double crochets. So now I have 3 double crochets. Place 1 double crochet into the next, 1 double crochet into the next. Then into the chain 3, I'm going to place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So into row 2, I have 8 stitches, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to begin row 3, I'm going to chain 3 again. Turn. Into the first stitch here, place extra 2 double crochets. So now I have 3 double crochets here. Into other stitches, 1 double crochet except the last stitch. So 1 double crochet into the stitch, 1 double crochet into the next. So into my chain 3, into the stitch, to my chain 3, I'm going to place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So for row 3, I have 12 stitches. So 4 stitches on the first row, 8 stitches on the second row, and 12 stitches on the fourth row. So that's addition of extra 4 stitches. Chain 3, turn, place extra 2 double crochets into the first stitch. Into the middle stitches, place 1 double crochet each. Then into the last stitch, which is the chain 3, I'm going to place 3 extra double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So on the fourth row, I should be having 16 stitches. So which means every row is adding extra 4 stitches. You're going to continue this, that's placing 3 double crochet into the first stitch and 3 double crochet into the last stitch until you have your waist measurement minus 2 to 3 inches. Chain 3, place extra 2 double crochets into the stitch. Into other stitches, you're going to have 1 double crochet each, then 3 double crochet into the last stitch, 3 double crochets into the last stitch, So now continue this until you have your waist measurement minus 2 to 3 inches. So right now this is almost 6 inches. This is 5.75 inches. I'm working on 28 inches as the waist measurement. So I'm going to continue this up until 25 inches, which is 3 inches away from the original waist measurements. So whatever measurement you're working on, continue until you have your waist measurement minus 3 or 2 inches. It depends on how you want it. But I'll be working on 3 inches. I already have my desired length and inches. So I already have my 25 inches of waist measurement minus the original waist measurement. So this is 25 inches, which is the 3 inches away from the original waist measurement. And I have 12 inches of length. So this inches is from neck to under bust. So now we're going to work from under bust to half length, which is going to be 16 to 16.5 inches. So from under bust to the waistline is the torso. So now we're going to move from under bust to the torso, which is 16 inches. So that's extra 4 inches. So we're going to close this up. No more increase or decrease. Just going to close this up. Join together. So into the chain 3, going to connect this. So I already joined this together and I'm having this. So I should be having 25 inches of the waist measurements. So I already have my 25 inches, which is 12.5 inches on fold. And the original hip measurement I'm working on is 28, which is 14. So this can easily stretch to 28 inches. So now the next thing is to go around with 1 double crochet, no increase. So the next 4 inches is going to be 1 double crochet round with no increase. So chain extra 1 into the first stitch here. I'm going to place 1 double crochet and have 1 double crochet into every other stitches until I'm back to the beginning point again. So now we are working from under bust now to the waistline, which is the torso. So into the last stitch, which is the joining point of the 2 panel, we're going to go in with 1 double crochet. Then slip stitch into the top stitch here. So you should have this. Chain 2 again. And now we're going to continue working from this point to the waistline, which is 4 inches. So in total you will have 16 inches. Into the next stitch, which is this. If you have your stitch here, then it means you are going to be skipping this. So if you have your stitch here, that means you're going to be skipping this. But if you have your stitch into the next stitch, then you have your last stitch into this. But you can't have your stitch into this and this. It means you are increasing because this counts as a stitch. So into the next stitch, going with 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet into every other stitches. No increase, no decrease, just 1 double crochet round. I'm going to place the last stitch into this, then slip stitch into the top stitch, this. Chain 2, turn and continue. So now I have a total of 16 inches. From this point to this point is 16 inches. So from now we're going to start increasing from the waist area to the hip point. So all we need to do is get a stitch marker to mark the midpoint on both sides, so this part and this part. If you do not have a stitch marker, you can improvise with something else. So on this side, you're going to insert your stitch marker, and also on this side, insert your stitch marker. So henceforth, this is going to be our increase point. So chain 2, then continue with 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the stitch marker, which is the increase point. One double crochet into every stitch. Into where I have my stitch marker, I'm going to place 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Then into other stitches, 1 double crochet until I get to the next stitch marker. One double crochet into other stitches, which is the middle stitches, until I get to the next stitch marker. Also place 2 double crochets into this. So into the same stitch, also place 2 double crochets. Then 1 double crochet each into other stitches until I get to the end point. The only point that is going to carry 2 double crochets is where you have your stitch marker, which is the joining point, or the increase point rather. So I'm also going to repeat the same on the next row until I have 5 inches away from the from hip measurement. That's the original hip measurement. So whatever original hip measurement you're working on, you're going to minus 5 inches away from it. Into where I have my 2 double crochets, I'm also going to place 2 double crochets there because it's our increase point. So into the same stitch, place 2 double crochets. Then continue 1 double crochet into every other stitches until you get to the next point. So whatever you do on this part of your increase, you repeat the same on the other part of the increase. So you're going to keep having 2 double crochets into the same stitch until you have your original hip measurement minus 5 inches. So I'm working on 40 inches as the original hip measurement, and I'm going to continue this until I have 35 inches, which is 5 inches away from the hip measurement. So this is it. You can see the increase on these 2 rows. So you're going to continue increasing now until you have 5 inches away from the original hip measurement. You can also work on 4 inches. It all depends on the yarn type you're using, and also the size you're making. So you make your increase up until you have 5 or 4 inches away from the original hip measurements. Like I said, I'm working on 40 inches, so I'm just going to minus 5 inches away from the 40 inches and do with the remaining 35 inches. So I'm going to continue increasing this until I have 35 inches. So now I already have my measurements here. So I already have my measurements here, which is 17.25 inches, which is 35 inches. So now I'm going to, and I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I made a total of 21 rows to get to my measurement. So the next thing to do now is to stop increasing, which means from this point I'm going to stop increasing. So chain 2 and continue. So which means I'm still going to stop placing 2 double crochets into where I have my 2 double crochets. Rather, I just go in with 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get to my dress length. It's just going to be 1 double crochet, no increase, no skipping of any stitch, just 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get to the dress length. So if you continue increasing, then it means you're going to exceed your measurement and it's going to be too big. So henceforth, or from this point, you're going to stop increasing and just have 1 double crochet round. Into the stitches where I have my 2 double crochet, I'm just going to place 1 double crochet because I'm no longer increasing. So if I continue to place 2 double crochet into the same stitch, it means I'm increasing. So it's just going to be 1 double crochet round now until I get to the skirt length. So I've stopped placing 2 double crochets where I followed the pattern of placing 2 double crochets. So now it's 1 double crochet. So I'm going to repeat this until the end of the row and continue this way. To take my measurements, I stopped increasing here, so this is already going straight. So I'm going to continue this now until I have my dress length. So right now I'm having, you take measurement from this point. So this is 27 inches. We'll meet up once I have my dress length, but right now I'm having 27 inches. So I'm going to continue going round and round without increasing. It's just going to be 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get to the dress length. When you continue increasing, then you're going to exceed your hip measurement and it's going to be too big. So to have the fitted dress, you're going to stop to where you have your hip measurement minus 4 to 5 inches, then continue going around that increasing. No decrease, no increase, just maintaining the same number of stitches until you get to the dress length. So continue going round and round, round and round and round until you have your dress length and it will meet up. So I've reached my desired dress length and I'm gonna need to make my slip stitch. So chain 2 and cut. Go back into the same stitch to pull up a strand. Then cut again. So I'm going to finish this up with another color. So you're going to be going in with a single crochet. Go a single crochet into 3 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3. One more, that's 4. Then the next single crochet is single crochet and make a long single crochet into the next stitch. So into this, make a long single crochet. Just you have this single crochet into, make sure you skip this stitch that you just made a single crochet. So single crochet into the next 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the 5th one, which is this stitch, make a long single crochet. So go into this, pull up a long single crochet. Make sure you skip that stitch, then move to the next with another single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So into the 5th stitch, which is this, make a long single crochet again. Then move to the next stitch, which is this. So this is going to be repetition for this row. 2, 3, 4. Into the 5th stitch, which is this, make a long single crochet. Then continue again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll be having this. Into the 5th stitch, which is this, make a long single crochet. You are skipping the 5th stitch and moving to the next one. 1. So you should have this. We'll meet up at the end of the row. The last stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch into this. Chain 2, then cut. Go into the same stitch and pull up a strand. Tie 2 times and cut. So now we'll move to the other upper parts and go in with 1 single crochet into the stitches. So from the joining point, you're going to chain 1. Into the tiny loop, going with a single crochet. Into the double crochet, go with a single crochet. Into the tiny loop, single crochet. Into the double crochet, going with a single crochet. Into the tiny loop, single crochet. Into the double crochet, one single crochet. So you're going one single crochet round. So one single crochet into the double crochet, one single crochet into the tiny loop, one single crochet into the double crochet, one single crochet into the tiny loop. Slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain one or chain two, then cut. Go into the same stitch, pull up a strand, then tie 2 times. Then cut. So now this is done, the back panel or the front panel is done. So the next thing to do is just to make a long chain that will be long enough to tie around the neck. Just a long chain to tie around the neck. Two strands. I have 2 strands yarn here, and I'll be doubling to 4. So I'm going to make a long chain. Just for the neck part. So I have this here, and I'm just going to connect to this and go back into the single crochet and continue with the chain. So which means I have this, and so I have my chain for the neck area. So I'm just going to tie this around the neck. But if you want to, you can transfer to the back. So if you want, you can just tie to the back. Just crisscross it. And just tie. So yeah, our dress is ready. Dress is ready. Now let's take our measurements. So the total length of this dress, is 32 inches. So I have 32 inches as the total length of the dress. The waist measurement is 25 inches, which is 12.5 inches. And the hip measurements 70.5 inches, which is 36 inches. Okay, and can stretch to 44 inches. So this is the back panel, and this is what the front is looking like. So if you have any excess yarn to trim out, you can just trim out your excess yarn. And yeah, this is it. Thank you for watching to the end. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next class. Bye.